All right, let's get right into it. A lot of us use intermittent fasting to kickstart our body's own natural cleanup process. But what if I told you there's a compound hiding in your morning coffee that can do pretty much the same thing? And on the flip side, one super common ingredient that might be shutting that whole process down. Today, we are talking about the chlorogenic circuit.
And this is a question that probably hits home for a lot of you, right? You wake up, you think you're doing everything by the book, extending your fast, keeping hunger at bay with a cup of coffee. But the source material we're looking at today suggests there might be something else going on entirely.
I mean, that's a pretty bold statement. It's basically saying that a tiny, simple mistake could be completely canceling out all the benefits of your fast before you've even really started your day. So, what is this trap, and how does it even work inside ourselves? To really get what's happening, we've got to zoom way, way in. We're going inside ourselves to meet the management, so to speak. It all boils down to a process called autophagy, and the one master switch that's in control of it all. Okay, so first, autophagy. The easiest way to think of it is like your cell's own internal recycling crew. Their job is to constantly patrol, find old, broken down, or just junky cell parts, and then break them down for reuse. This whole cleanup process is absolutely essential for keeping ourselves healthy. But here's the catch. This crew isn't its own boss. And that's because of this guy, mTor. Imagine mTor is the super strict factory manager. When the manager's on the clock, the factory is in full-on production mode. It's all about building, growing, storing energy. And his number one unbreakable rule, no cleaning while we're trying to produce. So the recycling crew, they're literally locked out. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? It shows the two basic modes your cells can be in. When mTor is switched on, you're in production mode. Everything's about building and storing, and autophagy is completely blocked. It's only when we can finally get mTor to switch off that the cell can flip into cleanup mode. That's when that critical recycling can actually happen. So, the main tool we all use to send that factory manager home is fasting. When we don't eat, our insulin levels drop, and that's the signal for mTor to finally clock out for the day. But here's the problem. For a lot of us, thanks to years of metabolic stress, that manager has become really, really stubborn. He just doesn't want to leave. Sometimes fasting by itself just isn't enough to kick him out. But what if there was another way to do it? What if there was a kind of biological override switch, a way to send that manager home whether he likes it or not? Well, it turns out nature has given us a pretty amazing little shortcut. The hero of this whole story is a compound you've probably never heard of, chlorogenic acid. It's found in really high amounts in coffee beans. And here's the most important part. You find it in both regular and decaf coffee. So this has nothing to do with caffeine. It's all about this incredible molecule that basically acts like a biological short circuit. So here's how this short circuit works. It's this brilliant two-pronged attack. First, the chlorogenic acid marches right up to the factory manager, mTor, and directly tells him, "You're done, clock out." But at the exact same time, it flips another switch called AMPK. Think of it as the cell's low-energy alarm. And when that alarm goes off, it also sends a shutdown signal to mTor. It's just a knockout 1-2 punch. Pretty amazing, right? But believe it or not, just forcing the manager to go home is only half the battle. What this compound does to the actual infrastructure of our cells, well, that's arguably even more incredible. Okay, this is where things get really next level. Chlorogenic acid also activates something called TFB. You can think of TFB as the cell's city planning department. This TFB goes right into the cell's central blueprint, the nucleus, and it turns on the genes responsible for building brand new lysosomes. And lysosomes are the actual recycling plants. So think about it. Fasting might tell one old, rusty recycling plant to open up for a bit. But your coffee is actually approving the construction of brand new state-of-the-art recycling facilities. It's a total game changer. So we have this unbelievable biological mechanism literally at our fingertips every morning. So why don't more of us feel these amazing benefits? Well, it all comes down to how we drink our coffee. And one very, very common mistake. This analogy from the source material is just perfect. Imagine you're in a race car. You're consuming the chlorogenic acid. That's you turning the ignition on and revving the engine. But then, you might be adding something else that acts like a fully engaged handbrake. The engine is screaming, you're burning fuel, but the car is going absolutely nowhere. And here is the handbrake. The culprit is sugar.
Just one single teaspoon of sugar is all it takes to spike your insulin and call that factory manager mTor right back to work. All of that amazing signaling from the chlorogenic acid gets completely canceled out, almost instantly. The recycling crew gets told to go home again. So the protocol to actually make this work is, thankfully, incredibly simple. Step 1, ditch the sugar, period. No exceptions. Step 2, be careful with dairy and creamers. They can have hidden sugars, and protein can also stimulate mTOR a little bit. And step 3, just drink it black. And remember what we said. If you can't handle the caffeine, a good quality decaf works just as well for this whole process.
Now, for those of you who always want to take things to the next level, the source material also suggests stacking your black coffee with a few other things to create this really powerful synergistic effect for yourselves.
So here's what that stack looks like. When you finally break your fast, adding some extra virgin olive oil to that meal can actually help speed up that TFB construction pathway we talked about. Adding a little pinch of turmeric with black pepper to your routine can help with the physical assembly of the recycling machines themselves. And of course, it all starts with the beans. Choosing high-quality organic coffee makes sure you're getting the biggest dose of chlorogenic acid right from the start.
You know, when you take a step back, the source frames all of this as something much bigger than just a simple health tip. The argument is that this is really about reclaiming our own biology, about being intentional, and treating our bodies like temples instead of just dumpsters.
And that really leaves all of us with a powerful final question to reflect on. Everything we eat, everything we drink, is it medicine or is it poison? Is it building us up or is it breaking us down? The choice ultimately